Hey y'all, 3 o'clock. You know what that means, at least here. It means we're doing a Facebook Live. We're starting. Darcy's kind of panning and showing you our little festival setup in our studio. We have a lot more pieces in our gallery. We even have a window display to do a window shopping kind of thing. So, come on over here. We'll talk a little bit. My name's Mark. You're now in Rosetree Blown Glass Studio and Gallery in beautiful Algiers Point, New Orleans, Louisiana. What we're going to do today is first I asked students to tune in. We have a special going right now for students, children, kids, whatever you want to call them, from 16 and under. And what we're doing is we're going to have like a quiz, let's say, a fun quiz on different things that I talk about in my Facebook Lives. It's going to include last Tuesdays, today's, and next Tuesday. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a quiz that you can print up or look at online and fill it out and send back to us. And what we're going to do is we are going to draw for one of the students to win one of my fantasy marbles. And you see, it's not just a little marble you play that you get in the bag full of 100 marbles. This is a really nice art piece, and you'll get the stand it sits on and everything. So what we'll do is on Tuesday or Wednesday we'll put up the quiz. Thursday we'll pick the winner, and on Thursday I will make a marble for that winner. So today we are going to make a bowl, and I kind of went back and forth on if I should show you what happens, but I figure I need to show you all sides of what we do here. That every piece that we make isn't really a success. So sometimes pieces break, sometimes pieces fall on the floor. And so I always do a practice piece before Facebook Live the day before. And what I did yesterday was I made a bowl, put it in the oven to cool off, and when I opened the oven up, it was pretty destroyed. So I want to show you. So this is the bowl. This is what we got. This is what I got out of the oven, and it's pretty much non-usable. So we're still going to do a bowl today. I'm going to switch it around a little bit because I think I know what I did wrong. And I want to just show you that, you know, the pieces have value because they're a little bit more dear. Every piece doesn't come out. Every piece is not a first quality piece. So we're going to do a bowl today, changing the colors up a little bit, and we will start. As always, if you're on a watch party, I'd love for you to comment, but you need to comment on our Facebook feed because I can't see on your watch party. And as always, we love to have thumbs up and hearts and all that stuff that lets us know you're there. Students, children with parents who are watching, let me know you're out there. Just say, you know, I'm Mark, I'm 10, I live in Memphis, Tennessee. I'd love to hear from you. All right. So we're going to walk over to the furnace, and the furnace is where the molten glass is. So inside the furnace, I can have up to 400 pounds of molten glass. Molten, as we know, if you've been with me for a while, molten means something that was once a solid is now a liquid. So the glass in here is a liquid. You usually see glass as a solid. It's hard, it's a window, it's in a car, it's used for your protection. But for us, it is a soft liquid. So, this is my blowpipe. Blowpipe is the same kind of tool that glass blowers have been using for over 2,000 years. Obviously not stainless, rubber, and plastic. When they first started blowing glass, the blowpipes were made out of clay, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my first layer out of the furnace. The furnace is 2,050 degrees inside. So you see, just by the color of it, it is very hot.
We've got Isabella, 15, watching with her mama in Wagaman, Louisiana.
Wonderful to have y'all. So that's my first layer. And I'm going to come over here. And what I'm doing for the bowl is actually, I work from the inside out because it's a bowl. And you see the inside more than you see the outside of the bowl. So my first layer is going to be what's going to show up on the inside of the bowl. And then my second layer is going to be my color. And then my third layer will be clear glass over top of the color. So I'm just putting a little colored glass on it. I'm putting it in my reheating chamber. The reheating chamber is hotter than the furnace. So, and you can actually tell by the color, this is a little bit more yellow than the furnace. So color for heat goes from red to orange to yellow to white. So this is a little more yellowy white. So it's hotter than the furnace, which is more yellow orange. So I'm putting some layers of color, which is going to be the bottom inside of the bowl.
We've got Tasha, who's a talented art teacher right outside of Baton Rouge.
Oh, wonderful.
Said she can't wait for the pandemic to be over because she's thinking our studio would be a perfect field trip for her students if we do that sort of thing.
Yes. I mean, we're not so huge that we could just have everybody in here, but we have done some trips. I would love you to tell your class about us, and they could follow us on Facebook. So I'm just making a little, I'm going to grab these with the shears, and I'm making a nice little twist. See how the color is now twisted on the bottom. And that's going to be inside, hopefully the inside bottom of my bowl. The one thing that this whole COVID-19 has done for me is it's forced me to think a little bit differently about the pieces. I'm doing more pieces because I'm doing the Facebook Live. I'm doing pieces that more suitable for demonstration in time. So it's kind of interesting to come up with those. So what I'm doing is I am going to blow my initial bubble in it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow into the pipe, put my finger over the end, and trap air inside. And you can see that the bubble is starting to peek through. So you see there's a bubble inside there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just force it, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So what we have is a nice swirl that's going to be on the bottom, on the inside of the bowl. So what I'm doing now is I'm letting this cool off a little bit, because if I went right now into the furnace and got another layer, that layer would heat this layer up too hot and it become really floppy and hard to handle. So I'm waiting for this color in the blowpipe, the red, to kind of fade away and be gone. So, it's a gorgeous day in New Orleans again. It is, I don't know if it, I guess it's around 70 degrees or so, and really not a cloud in the sky, and it's great glass blowing weather actually. So we see the red's pretty much gone. I'm going to go in and get another layer of color, another layer of clear, and then we'll go into the next layer of color.
Isabel's mom has a question.
Okay.
Robin, she says, what do you do with all of the residual clip-off glass?
Some of it we sell. People use it in their artwork, like shard paintings kind of things. And so we sell it per pound. And a lot of it some of it we save because I have some ideas for some things to do in the future. And some of it we just throw away. Okay, so I'm going into this. This is colored glass powder. So it's really fine, kind of like sugar. Nice fine powder. And I'm coating the whole piece, turning the whole time. I'm going to heat it up. I'm going to put another layer on. I might even put 2 layers on. All the time going back and heating and turning. If I'm not turning, like I said, the piece will drip off. Now, for those of you who have been here a while, kids, why will the glass drip off? There's a certain property that we've talked about. That's the second layer. What draws us down to the ground and keeps us on the earth, keeps us from flying off into the galaxy. So that force is called gravity. So if you stop turning, gravity is going to bring it down to the center of. The definition of gravity is the force that brings something to the center of the mass being Earth, and gravity keeps us down on the ground towards the center of the Earth, actually. So that's 3, correct? So after the third one, I'm going to put it in what's called an optic mold. And optic mold is just used to put lines and make bridges and things like that on the glass. I don't use any molds as a finish. So all my pieces are handmade, hand-developed. I don't use molds to make the final shapes.
Isabella did guess gravity, by the way.
Isabella
just came
what?
in. She guessed gravity. It just
Wonderful.
came in a little late.
All right. I think there might be a time delay. So you see what the optic mold did? It put ridges on there, and then when I flatten out the ridges, that's going to make lines. So I give it a real good heat and kind of and smooth all that out. All right, it's time for Where Are You From? We're from Algiers Point, New Orleans, Louisiana. I want to know who's farthest away and who is the closest. Who in my neighborhood? Who's watching?
Well, we already have a Wagaman, Louisiana. We've got just outside of Baton Rouge. We've also got Sacramento, California.
Ooh, that's getting pretty far. So you see, by the pressure I put on it, it starts to make the lines swirl. Then I'm going to cut off the bottom, just to keep that swirl going.
We've got Shabana, Illinois.
Where's Shabana, Illinois?
Shabana. I know I'm going to pronounce that one correctly.
Well, whoever's from there, where is it? Where's it close to? So that, you see, brings our spiral all the way down, and this will be the bottom of the bowl. So you see how the lines all spiral in.
We've got Adrian and Bocage. So we're in.
Adrian's my neighbor.
In your neighborhood. Got Portland, Oregon.
Ooh, Portland, Oregon's the farthest so far.
Constance said it's near DeKalb.
Okay.
We got Christine from Metairie. She's come to do classes and can't wait to start up again.
Can't wait to have people back. So I'm heating this up really well. And I'm going to do final smoothing. I'm going to blow the bubble out a little bit more. So I'm looking at the inside. You can see the inside bubble is starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the outside is starting to push out also. So you see how the outside is starting to round out? That tells you the bubble is getting bigger. So by cooling certain areas of the piece, I am controlling where the bubble goes. So by cooling the sides like I'm doing here, when I blow into it, it's going to force the bubble into the end where it's still hot. See how it's still glowing down here? So I blow into that, the bubble doesn't push out on the sides anymore, it shoots out to the bottom. So that's pretty much my initial my two first layers. So I have a layer of color. You can see it's still kind of glowing in there underneath. And then I have a layer of, it's a copper blue actually, on top that is forming my stripes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one more layer of clear to encase the whole piece, and then I'm going to start shaping.
I do have to say that I think the copper blue is my favorite.
Copper blue is very pretty.
All the blues.
It's a nice soft blue. It'll change color. Glass, when it's hot, you can't judge by what color it is, because a lot of colors, they change color when they're hot, and then when they cool off, they go back to their original color. So this seems hot enough for me, cool enough for me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one last final gather on top and then start to shape. Again, it's 2,050 degrees inside here. And by turning the pipe, putting glass over top of the layers I already took. And I'm just letting a little bit of it drip off back into the furnace. And you can see that I now have all my layers on, my 3 layers. And I'm going to go start to shape that. This is called a wood block, and a wood block is a shaping tool, and it's wood that's carved and then soaked in water. So you see the wood is not really flaming up, it's just a few sparks going out. What's happening is there's a layer of steam on the block, and the glass rides on that layer of steam. So it doesn't really burn the block a whole lot. And you can see the block does get burned out a little bit, but that block I've been using for a couple of years.
So Christy was asking, as a fellow colorblind person, how do you decide on what colors to use? How do you know that they'll work together?
Okay, so a lot of that is color theory. I want to say I have a very tuned, my color theory, my color knowledge is different than everybody else. So it's a lot of trial and error. For a long time I didn't work with any reds or greens, because red, green, purple is really what I'm deficient in. But it's gotten to the point where I kind of know. like a spidey sense. It's, you know, you have a heightened one. If one thing's diminished, another thing is heightened. So I'm using what's called, there's a pair of jacks, and I'm cutting in what's called a jack line. And the jack line is important for later, but we have to put it in now before the glass gets too cold up towards the pipe. What I'm doing is I'm just lengthening it a little bit, and then I'm going to blow a little bit more. See, I'm cooling the bottom part because I want the shoulder to blow out. So again, most vases, bowls, whatever, have body parts named. So foot, shoulder, lip, neck, these are all things, parts of a vase or a bowl.
So Isabella was asking what the initial temperature was for the other glass heater, the furnace, I'm guessing.
The furnace, glass in the furnace, that's 2050.
And so how much is this one?
This one's about it's about 2,200 or so.
There you go, Isabella.
So I'm going to heat this up. I'm going to go back to my bench. I'm going to use, this is a graphite impregnated cloth, and that's wet also, and I'm using that to shape the glass. So I'm always going back in to make that jack line really sharp because it needs to be a certain thickness for it to come off cleanly. Okay, so I'm going to blow this out a little bit more and then continue shaping. So you see now, this is the foot, that's the body, that's the lip. Always heating in the flame, or I can pull out and just heat the bottom half of the piece. But right now I think I want the whole piece to be hot. So I'm going to heat all the way in.
So Isabella asked, impregnate with copper?
No, impregnated with graphite.
Graphite.
Did I say copper?
I honestly don't remember.
I don't know. So I'm making it a little bit wider. The way I made it wider was I held my hand on the bottom and the hitter. And spun the glass, and what happened was the mass of the glass wanted to move away from the middle, and that's called centrifugal force. So centrifugal force made it wider. What I'm doing, I'm making a flat bottom. This is a wood paddle, again wet, so the glass rides on a layer of steam. And I'm putting in what's called a kick. And a kick is what keeps it off the table so that it just sits on a rim on the bottom. It doesn't sit across the whole piece. And if you see, you're starting to see some of the first initial color from here down. You're starting to see that peek out. All right, so I'm going to cool this a second, and I'm going to do what's called a transfer. And what a transfer is I'm going to take the bowl off of this pipe and stick another rod on the bottom and transfer it from the pipe to the rod so that we can open up the lip of the piece, the lip of the bowl, to make it open like a bowl.
Thank you, Christy. She said great camera work.
That's Darcy. Darcy's my camera person. Been with me from the beginning.
Just cooling it down in the pan.
So I'm gonna hang that up, let that sit and wait for a little bit. I will get
For anybody who came in late, we're just doing this over again. Wanted to show that not every piece can make it. Doing some different colors on it though.
So I have a little bit of glass on the end, and I'm shaping that, cooling certain areas and leaving areas hot. I'm going to bring my bowl, my yet to be finished bowl over here, put it on my bench, and then I'm going to use, this is a vial that has diamonds in it, and that will be used, diamonds and water, to take off, to make the transfer. So the reason that I wanted that jack line in really tight was so that it breaks off cleanly. If the jack line isn't tight, it might break off really ragged or just not break off at all. So I'm going to tap it, and it comes right off. So now it's on the second rod, and you start to see the colors, see the swirls on the bottom? Not the lines, you see also swirls. And those swirls are the colors that I put on my first layer. So I'm heating the whole piece up, because if I don't heat the whole piece up, if I'm just heating up the top part, where I attach the rod is going to get too cold and it'll snap off. So I always go all the way in, that's called flashing. So I always do a nice flash, then I come out and heat just the lip. Right now, this. So I'm going to flash, come out, and heat the lip up. The lip was the coldest part, because that's the part we broke off. And now we have to make it the hottest part, because that's the part we want to shape and make wider, make the bowl. Always turning, I can turn clockwise or counterclockwise. And the first heat is the longest heat because the glass, like I said, the glass was cold coming off of the pipe.
Jan is asking, when do you sign your pieces?
We sign the pieces at the end, after the bottom. When we come out of the oven, the cool down, after they cool down the room temperature, we make sure the bottom is flat and it sits okay. And at that point, when everything is good, we sign. Okay, now with the jacks, I can use the jacks on the inside. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to use, these are called shears. I'm going to take the shears and make sure the top is even. So you can cut glass when it's hot. You can cut it just like you cut paper. So you see, I only get about 30 seconds or so to do whatever I need to do at my bench, and then the glass becomes too cold and I have to go back and reheat it. So I'm giving the top a good heat again. Flashing the attachment. It's called a punty rod. I'm flashing the attachment on the punty. Heating the lip again. Flashing. And I come all the way out and I'm going to open it a little bit more. I'm letting centrifugal force also open it. You see, it's also starting to get wider. The top is also starting to get wider. So I'm going to use these wood jacks just to shape it a little bit. I'm setting up for my final spin. Although this is a kind of nice shape right now. Nice salad bowl. But we're gonna make it kind of a wavy shape. I'm heating the whole thing up. And I'm just gonna heat up the top part. And I'm gonna spin it real fast like I did the other day with the square bowl. But because I don't have pinches in it, it's gonna open up hopefully evenly. So it's a nice even bowl. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take and just put some ridges in it. A lot of people just let it flop open. Those of you who know me, I like things pretty regular and regimented, so I don't really go with the off-center floppy kind of thing. So that's your bowl. So you can see actually in the sunlight, or the light, you can see the color that we put on the first layer, and then the blue stripes, you'll see. So I'm coming over here to my crack-off area, and I'm going to just tap. So if that went on too hot, it would be really hard to take off. If that went on too cold, it would have fallen off a long time ago. So just by putting it on at the right temperature, you get a nice release off of it. And what I'm doing now is that's just fire polishing. So that's the part that I just took off, left a little sharp spot, and so that just evens that sharp spot off. So this piece is very, very light, very wispy. So this is what's called an annealing oven. And what the annealing oven does is, the annealing oven is at 920 degrees. And when you're done blowing the piece, if you just left the piece out to cool from 1,000 down to room temperature, it would go from hot to cold too fast and it would crack. So the annealing oven, what it does is at 920 degrees, and that piece will come down to 920, stabilize over the whole piece, and at the end of the evening, I'll put the ovens on a turn down, and about 16 hours or so later, they'll be down to room temperature and cool enough to touch. Question?
So Isabella wants to know, what did the graphite do in the
the graphite just keeps, it doesn't burn. So if a lot of people use wet newspaper, and wet newspaper burns and chars. This doesn't burn and char. So it's nice and smooth, it's just a lot cleaner. So that's today's bowl. Darcy, you want to take them through the mini festival display here?
Absolutely. If you guys have any questions on any of the things we've got up here, feel free to give us a call. All right.
So, like I explained at the beginning, what we're doing is we're going to do a giveaway for a student 16 and under who fills out our little fun quiz about glass. We'll have it online for you to do. So Tuesday we'll be doing another demo, and so it will consist of this past Tuesday's, today's, and next Tuesday's demos, and I'll have some questions from each one of those. I don't know, 10, 15 questions, and whoever we'll do on next Tuesday.
Tuesday you're going to put the quiz up, Thursday you're going to pull the winner.
And Thursday we'll make it the same day. Okay, because usually we wait a day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darcy. All right, as always, we are www.rosetreegallery.com, and we have a new new website. It's a new platform we put up, and Darcy's been working really hard on it, and it looks fabulous. So it's be a lot easier to see things and find things on it. Facebook, we're Rosetree Blown Glass, but you know that because you're watching now. Instagram, we're Rosetree Glass Gallery, and we'd love to hear from you and comments, or we'd love for you to buy. We understand people, it's kind of weird, you know, times now, but this is how we're making our money also. So our galleries that we supply to are pretty much all shut down, so we make our money by making our sales here. I'm not pressuring you for a sale. I love having you all here. I love to talk about what I do, but if you need a gift or want something, just let us know. As always, love one another, take care of one another. Thank y'all for coming.